You see, all the problems in the world go back to one simple point. You have to be who you were designed to be by nature. You have to be you. You have to do you. You have to be yourself. And that's the only way to ascend. The problems in the world go back to one thing: people. You see, people make up the world. And all of the problems in the world are based on people not knowing themselves. People not looking within themselves to be able to find themselves. See, you have to be who you were created to be by nature. That's right, I said by nature. If we were to follow the blueprint of nature, there would be no confusion. There would be no doubt. You wouldn't be lost. There would be no envy. There would be no jealousy. Because you would be following your blueprint of who you were designed to be by nature. You see, we all have a natural character. And the problem is that most of us don't know who we were designed to be by nature. And many of us don't know what the term nature means. You see, we don't know what nature means. Nature means taking a course, a designated course. This is what nature is. Nature is a cycle. It's following a cycle of growth and progress. And being who you were designed to be by nature is coming from your 0 point and growing into that which you were designed to be. But what happens is that humans have something called free will. And a lot of times free will gets us in trouble because sometimes we use our free will against the laws of nature, And sometimes we come in between this natural course and try to manipulate it and make it to be what we want it to be. And many of us do this because of the programming, another key word, the programming that the Matrix has put on us, certain individuals that don't know themselves. Now I say us loosely because I'm fully aware of myself. So I have no evil or hate in my heart, no jealousy in my heart. It is no confusion in my heart as to what I'm supposed to be doing. I totally know who I am, and I'm following my natural blueprint. You see, when you go into your natal chart, natal goes back to nature. And when you go into your natal chart, this is looking into your nature. You may be wondering why and how, because the planets are a part of nature. The Earth and all the other planets at a long time ago were all a part of one gigantic body, one gigantic planet. And this planet was called Om. So all of the planets are one and the same as far as the nature. When you go back to the 0 point, you see, to study the nature of a thing is to study it from 0 point and then to study its growth. Because everything has a 0 point. And your 0 point determines what you will grow into. So the problem is that in the Matrix, they give us false images. They give us images so that we can look up to these images and make these images into who we basically live by these images and basically live in these images to where we turn into these images. For instance, a rapper, any rapper. I'm not picking on rappers, just any rapper. They put a rapper up there as an image. So now everybody wants to be a rapper. And you're saying, well, this is what I was designed to be by nature, was a rapper, because I felt like this. And you may be designed not to be a rapper, but you may have the gift of mastery of words to create a magical element, because that's what a rapper really truly is. That's what an MC really truly is a master of ceremony. The term MC goes back to the occult, as I spoke of in other videos. My video I did about hip-hop and the occult. And an MC is a master of a ceremony. And what I'm saying here is that you may have the skills to be a rapper, but you're much more than a rapper. Don't limit yourself, beloved, to just a rapper. And what happens is that when you don't know your natal chart and you don't understand nature, and the nature of things, you don't know where the nature of a rapper comes from, you won't fully understand who you are. What is a rapper? A rapper is similar to a guru or a sage, a shaman, essentially. Has the gift of prophecy, the gift of being able to make music that a whole bunch of people like, that keeps him basically to be able to tap into the trend, to make music that taps into the trend of a collective group of people. This is what an effective musician who masters the mooses, or a rapper or a poet or a vocalist, whatever you want to call it, this is what an effective musician does, is that they find the trend or the harmony or the tone of the people at that time, and they tap into that tone, whatever it is. So that's what an effective musician does, and that basically makes you a magician, a master, or a magician, a manipulator. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times what rappers say comes back to them, because through the power of the spoken word, you make contracts. So when rappers say things like, I see death around the corner, these things come back to them, as I've said before. So what I'm saying here is that you could be much more than a rapper. You could be much more than a rapper, because your 0 point as a rapper will be more of a magician. A woman who is very sexy, she might feel, as you know, she grows up, a young girl, she has curves. Her sacred geometrical patterns are very attractive to the opposite sex. And as she grows up, she's curvy. And she may feel that she's supposed to be a dancer. Because of her sex appeal and her magnetism, and the fact that most people that have that type of appeal have strong Venus traits. So she may feel that she wants to be a dancer. But the Matrix gives you a false image, and you buy into this image, so then now you want to be a stripper. See, dancing goes back to Tantra. So one who is into dance is one who is basically mastering the tantric arts. It's different forms of tantric arts, and I'm going to cover that eventually. But one who is inclined to dance is mastering the aspect of the sacred geometry of Tantra and using the body to dance, which goes back into yoga too. Dance goes into yoga as well. So just like your martial arts go back into yoga and things like that. So what I'm saying here is this: we are so one-dimensional. We're so linear, and we let the Matrix put one little title on us, and we think that's what we are. So you say, I'm a truck driver, and that's it. I drive trucks, I have a wife, I have a son and a daughter, I'm a father, and I'm a faithful member of my church, and that's what I do. And this is the image that you have. This is the image that you have for yourself. And though these things may give you clues about your attributes, but it's more to you than that. You may need to dig into your nature and figure out exactly who you are at the root, going to your 0 point and figuring out who you are at the root. So there will be no confusion. There will be no doubt. When we talk about nature, that goes back to the term neter, or Nestor. Some people pronounce it Nestor. And when you talk about Nestor, that's an Egyptian term. See, a lot of these so-called English terms, English is a bastardized language composed of many different languages. And when you talk about English is a bastardized language. So a lot of our words have Egyptian origins, actually. A lot of them. Even our alphabet itself, it's a reason for that. That goes back, has a lot to do with the Moors, but I'm not talking about that here. So when you deal with the term neter and nature, they're synonymous, or Nestor and nature. And then there were different Nesdors or different Netiru or different nature spirits. When you start to study that, they were called the Enneads, the Ennead system. And these were basically deities that talked about different aspects of your nature that became schools. You see, the ancients respected nature. They had a very great respect for nature, and they set up whole schools, and many people have heard me talk about this, based upon nature. But you hear me talk about this, right? But it's like people aren't really looking into their animal spirits. They're not really looking into their self. Because I'm looking out here and I'm on social network and I'm looking at how people are still feeding into the false images of wanting to be somebody else. People are not still doing them. People are not still, your natal chart teaches you your nature. You don't have to get a natal chart. Your numerology chart teaches you your nature. When you get a reading from somebody, that's going into who you are, your nature. See, when people see into your aura, Akashic reading, and they see into your Akashic records, they're looking into your nature. Now, nobody can look into your 0 point. Only you can do that, because only you know you. But you have to go within in order for the experiences on the outside of you, in order for those experiences to be enhanced. You have to look within. You have to tap into your nature, who you are as an individual, and as a being, and learning about your nature spirits, learning about your elements, which is a part of your nature. Are you ruled by the water element? Are you ruled by the earth element? Are you ruled by the fire element? Are you ruled by the ether element? Are you ruled by the spirit element? Which element are you ruled by? You know what I'm saying? You have to study your nature by tapping into yourself and meditating and going deep within yourself and asking yourself, why do I experience jealousy? Why do I experience envy? Why am I lost? Why do I need guidance? Where's this stemming from? What is the root of this problem? That's going into your nature. Why am I acting this way? Why am I doing these things? See, people don't want to go into their nature. They don't want to really dig into the meat of consciousness, which is a feminine experience, a very passive experience, a very meditative experience, and it's about going within. But once you go within, beloved, it's a lot of jewels that you can extract once you go to the root of who you are, because you'll find out when you go to the root of who you are, it creates so many options. One attribute about yourself could turn into like 7 different sources of income for you. One attribute that you know about yourself that you know you've mastered could turn into an empire for you. Looking in within yourself, the jewels and the treasures, the hidden treasures located within yourself, because you are a vault. Your body's a vault, and everything within you is basically all the jewels, and everything you need is located within you. Your chakras, understanding your chakras. You don't know your nature. See, people say, I know my nature. My nature is to be evil, or my nature is to argue, or my nature is to want to fight and cuss people out. That's not your nature. That's not your nature. What that is that's a blockage, beloved. One of your chakras is messed up. So your nature is not functioning properly. That's why you're feeling that way, because you're eating all of those foods that aren't good for you. You're doing all those things. You're smoking all those cigarettes that aren't good for you. You know what I'm saying? You're putting things in your body too much. You're not being balanced. You're not putting an alkaline in your body. You're just constantly putting acidic in your body. So you think you're operating off of your nature, but you're not, because you're not natural. See, they really duped us with this nature thing in the Matrix, beloved, and they have us eating foods that aren't natural. And that's making you not be able to operate off of your nature as well. So when you talk about nature, you have to look at it organically, spiritually, from your natal chart aspect, from the meditative aspect, from the chakras and energetic aspect. And I mean, and when you can really first find out what are your blockages and heal them through the breath, through the science of breath, through going within. All your problems can be solved from going within. Always remember that. If you're having a problem, go within. Don't look from the outside for solutions. Always know that solution is from within. And I'm not saying that the outside won't bring you solutions, but when you go within, then that's when the solutions come from the outside. That's when you get the knock on the door that your healing comes from. Your healing is on the outside a lot of times, but you still have to go within to unlock certain things. Like the Matrix, remember you had the key maker guy. You know what I'm saying? The Ankh is the key. I always show my Ankhs. And the Ankh is the key. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the womb of life. The phallus and the womb coming together. And this is the key of life. And when you go within, you know what I'm saying? You're tapping into your jewels by having the Ankh, the key. The master's key to be able to open up these vaults that are within you to extract these jewels so that you can be who you are. So I mean, I'm just putting this video out as motivation, because I mean, I'm just looking around and it's like we're still feeding into the false images on the outside, and we're still not, even I'm talking about in the conscious community, we're still not looking within. We're still not looking within for that inner peace. We always need, don't get me wrong, we all need a pattern to live our lives by, and that's why when people are trying to strive to live right, they should make themselves into a public display, and they should show that they're living a certain type of way, because everybody needs a pattern to live by, and everybody needs a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that, yeah, you might see people on the outside that inspire you, but you have to go into your natal chart, beloved. You have to go into your numerology chart. You have to figure out who you are. You have to go within your chakras and line them up yourself. You have to do these things. Nobody can do them for you. You have to go get your palms read, or whatever you have to do to be able to find the inner you. If it's going to a sage or a guru that's going to do a reading on you, if it's going to church, whatever you feel, if that's helping you to find self within, not looking without, which leads to slavery, but looking within for your answers and healing healing your blockages, your energetic blockages, so that you aren't experiencing these lower emotions. Be your nature. Nurture it by eating healthy. We're always taught, it was an ancient Egyptian doctrine, you nurture your nature. You nurture it by eating healthy, by putting the proper foods in it, putting alkaline foods in it, drinking proper water, properly cleansing yourself at times. Being balanced though at the same time. I mean, because we all have desires. So sometimes we don't live in a world where it's 100% alkaline. So sometimes you're going to do certain things that are quote unquote toxic. And that's being balanced. And I'm offering that here because a lot of teachers aren't going to say that. They're going to just say, just eat all 100% alkaline, 90% alkaline, and you're never going to be toxic. And people are going to mess up. So I'm saying you already know you're going to mess up. But if you learn how to breathe properly, which is a part of nature, see, everything I teach goes back to nature, which is a part of nature. If you learn how to breathe properly, you'll be able to have toxic foods and eat toxic foods and be able to cleanse yourself of them within like an hour of meditation. Like say, for instance, a person might eat a bag of Skittles, and I don't eat Skittles, so just keeping it real, I don't eat candy because you can't die. But a person might eat a bag of Skittles, but within 2 hours of meditation, maybe they could burn out all those processed sugars if they know how to go within their Merkaba to do these things. So you can heal, but it's about knowing your nature, knowing who you are so that you can heal yourself, so that you can experience satisfaction, abundance, prosperity, peace, and love.